Good day everyone, Mr. Cargill here with our next Autocad video. Now in this video, we're going to be looking at how we go about drawing the section and the plan view for a manhole in Autocad. So this video is one in a series of drawings related to sewage systems. So if you want to find out how you go about drawing the section through a septic tank, you can check out this video right here. Also, for this drawing, the PDF file for the drawing of the manhole can be found in the description below. So you can go ahead and download that drawing if you want to use it. Before we get into the actual drawing of the manhole, we're going to look at what a manhole is, what does it do, and all of that. So let's go. Let's look at this PowerPoint presentation right here. So this is on how to draw manholes or inspection chambers. So first things first, what are manholes? What purpose do they serve? It says that these are the assets that provide a surface connection to the underground sewer network below. And they have multiple functions. So what do they do? It says that they split the gravity sewer mains at regular intervals, often at changes in direction. So the manhole allows, smooth changes of direction. And it also allows for their primary purpose, which is to provide access to pipes for cleaning, removing blockages, and allow condition assessment inspections by maintenance crew. So these maintenance crews can come and look at the inspection chambers, which is why they're called inspection chambers, and they can look at them and see what's happening, if there is any blockage that they need to clean out, and so on. All right, so that is the purpose of the manholes. And of course, as you know, they're part of the sewage system that deals with the removal of waste from your property and so on. And as you can see in this little image right here, they would take the waste material from the building right here, and then when it comes to the manhole here, it allows for a change in direction, and then it will take it towards the main sewer line and so on. So that's how it works. So with that, let's get into the fun part, which is the drawing. So let's go. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to ensure that we are drawing at a scale of 1 to 20 here. So for something like a manhole, the scale is normally like 1 to 20 or 1 to 25. So in terms of how we go about drawing the manhole section and plan view, this is how we're going to do it. So this drawing here shows the section through the manhole, and this one here shows the plan view. So we're going to start with the sectional view. So for the sectional view now, this is going to show what it would look like if you should cut through a manhole. We have all the dimensions here. This dimension here, it says varies, and this is the depth. And the depth will vary depending on the slope of the land and also the type of manhole. This is just for a residential purpose, so it's not going to be a very deep one. It's going to be rather shallow. We can start anywhere on the drawing, but let's start with the base down here. Good. So for the base, it says that this height is 150, and then now this distance here is 825. All right, so the dimensions for the rectangle will be 150 by 825, or actually 825 by 150. So we're going to select a rectangle here, and for the dimensions, we're going to type 825, comma 150, enter, and that gives us our little rectangle right here. So now we're going to have let's go with this distance here, which is the depth. All right, so for the depth, we're going to work with a depth of about 800 millimeters. So that's the depth that we're going to work with. The manhole depth, as I said, it varies depending on the type, whether it's for residential or commercial, or it also depends on the slope of the land and stuff like that. So you'd want to look up and do some research on the different guidelines pertaining to how you go about designing manholes and the different dimensions in your specific area. But for this, we're going to work with this dimension here. So for this now, let me switch to the 0 layer. This height is going to be 800, so we're going to do 800. Also for this, I will put the PDF file for this in the description so that you can download it and you can look at the PDF file. All right. So for this now, this distance is going to be 150. So the thickness of the wall is 150. So we're just going to make this 150 here. And then I'll just bring this back down and close that off down there. So because this is symmetrical, we can actually just do one side and then we can mirror it over to the next side. All right. So for what we need now is this distance here. So it says that this is 150. So let me go back to the concrete layer here. So this height is going to be 150. All right. And then we're going to come across here. So the total distance that we're going to come across there. So for this, we're going to leave a distance of, let's leave a distance of 30 millimeters. And this total distance is 150, which means that we're going to come across by 120. Then we're going to come down here by 20. Then we're going to come across by 30. And then we'll come back down here like this. All right, lovely. So now we have that. So the next thing that we need would be this. And this represents the blocks for the wall right here. So for this distance, let's use 75 millimeters. We're going to offset by 75 here. They're going to offset all the way down. All right, lovely. So there we have that. So with that now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the cover. So this is the cover right here and it goes all the way across here. So for this now, we're actually just going to do half of it. So let me just get a center line here because as I said, it's symmetrical. So let me just get a center line. That center line is going to be running from like right here all the way up above it. And let's extend it a little bit down out of the drawing also. So like that. All right, so let me switch to the blue for the cover. So for this now, what we're going to do is this. We're going to offset. We're going to leave a little bit. So we're going to offset by about 5 millimeters. So we're going to bring this out by about 5 and then we're going to move it up by about 3 millimeters. So now I'm going to change this now to the cover layer. All right, good. So then now I'm going to draw a line here. This line is going to come all the way over to here. And then now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to offset by 3 like this, but not up. I'm going to offset down by 3. So I'm going to actually erase that line up top. So I'm going to delete this line here. So now I'm going to cover this all the way across like to here, and I'm going to trim, and I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to trim that. Good. So now you can see we have our cover looking like this one here. So this is going to go all the way across, but don't worry, we're going to mirror to get that. So we are almost done with this. So we just need this part and then we need the pipe. So for this now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to draw a circle. So from here, the circle is going to be 100 millimeters above the ground here. So from here to the center of the circle is going to be 100. All right, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to draw a line. You don't have to draw a line, but I'll do it like this. I'll bring this up by 100 and that will be the center of my circle. So I'm just going to draw a circle from here. The diameter of my circle is going to be 100 millimeters because it's a 4-inch millimeter diameter pipe. So if the diameter is going to be 100 millimeters, then that means that the radius is going to be 50. So let me switch to the green layer. And then from here now, I'm going to draw this circle, and this is going to be with a radius of 50. So let me just change this from the center to the solid circle. I no longer need this line here. You didn't need the line to get the center. You could just select a circle, come here, and just move your cursor up, type 100. It gives you this point, then you can draw the circle. So you could do that also. All right, so I have this now. So what I'm going to do with this from here is this now. I'm going to need this line here. And from the center to up here is about 100. So what I can do now is this. I'm going to draw a line through the center of the circle like this. I'm going to change it from a center line shortly, but let me change from a center line to just a solid green line. And I'm going to offset this line by 100. I'm going to offset it up like this. So as you can see from this drawing, we don't need this one right here, but let me delete it. I was going to keep it if I want to do some trimming later, but let me delete it. So I have that now. So the next thing I need now, I need this coming down here, and then I need this fillet. So for that, actually, let me switch to the concrete layer. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw a line. That line is going to come to the center of my circle right here. And then I'm going to select fillet. I'm going to click on this line. And for this fillet radius, I'm going to click R, enter. I'm going to use 20 as the radius. So then I'm going to click 20, enter. And then I'm going to click. And then I'll click the circle there. And then now that gives me this right here. This is the part here. Lovely. So now from here, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to mirror. Let me see if I have everything that I need to mirror. Let's do this. So we're going to highlight all of these. I'm going to highlight this as well. I'm going to highlight everything over here. All of these lines. I just not this green line. I don't need to mirror that. I'll mirror this as well. All these lines. And I don't need to mirror this rectangle. So now I'm going to select the mirror tool and I'm going to mirror like from here. Just move your cursor down, erase source object. No, we want to keep the source object. And just like that, we're almost done. So I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim off this little piece of that line right there. And then now you see this down here is yellow. So we need a yellow circle. We could change this circle to yellow as well, but let's just do this. Let me go back to the concrete layer. I'll just draw a circle from here like that. And then I'm going to right click here and I'm going to actually send this to the back. So I'm going to go to draw order and I'm going to send to back. So now it's at the back. So I can trim off this piece of the circle here. So now I can trim TR, enter, and I can trim off down here. Good. And now I can delete this line. I just needed it for the trim. So now I have that. All right, good. Lovely. So now if you're worried about, your next circle showing up behind this circle, then we can trim off this piece of the yellow circle. So we can do this draw order and then we can send this to back. And then now we can trim this part of the yellow circle up there. So now we can have that. So that's good. All right, so with this now, we need one more thing to complete the drawing for the section, and that is this pipe right here. So for this pipe, what we're going to do is we're going to go into this green layer here, and then from here we are going to, I'm going to select a line. I'm going to turn off ortho. Actually, I need object snap, but turn off ortho. And then I'm going to just click right here and I'm going to bring this up. Right now I'm not going to use any specific angle. So I'll just bring it up like that, no specific distance really. And then, as I said before, the diameter of the pipe is 100 millimeters. So I'm going to offset here by 100. And we're going to get that. And I'm also going to do a next offset. You could have selected a through offset since we are doing more than one offset. But for this offset here, we're going to make this offset 50. All right, so I have that. All right, lovely. So with this now, we're going to just extend this down to touch right there. I can trim off the extra piece. And then we're going to extend this down, same angle. Let me just extend it all the way over to this wall actually. And then let's extend this out a little bit. And we're going to change this to the center layer because it's a center line. So the next thing we need now is this. What this represents is that we are drawing a cut pipe. So a piece of the pipe is cut off, all right, and it continues. So we need to draw that to represent that the pipe would actually continue, and this is just a piece of it. So now let me just select a circle and I'm going to come here, no specific distance really. I'll just come a little bit above the center line like here, and I'll draw that circle up, and I'll click on that circle. I'm going to copy it from right down here. I'm going to bring it down to this point. And let me just bring it over a bit to about there. So let me just delete the first one. So again, I just copy this circle, bring it down to the base, and bring it over a little bit to the right. So the next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do some trims. So TR, enter, enter. So I'm going to trim. So we want ours to look like this. We're going to trim off this piece here. Good. And then we're also going to be trimming off this piece right here. And we're going to trim this piece and this piece. All right. So now we're going to do some fillet. So, all right. So now we're going to use the fillet command. So let's type fillet. So I'm going to click here. And now you see I'm getting this little thing that says it's not going to work. So it's because the radius is too large. So I'm going to type R, enter, and I'm going to change the radius from 20 to 10. And now with 10 now, it works well. So now I can trim off these excess pieces. So we can trim this and trim that. And now that gives us our section completed, except for one thing, and that is our hatch. So we're going to click the drop down hatch and click the drop down arrow. What you're looking for is CONC, which is concrete. I have it right here. So I'll click on that. I'm going to hatch this in concrete, this in concrete, and this in concrete. However, I was in the wrong layer, so let me just change it to a different layer. So let me just go home and change it to the 0 layer. All right, good. If when you do your hatches, your concrete doesn't look like this, it just looks like one solid white thing, then what you'd want to do is to change the scale. So you might want to change the scale to like 5, 10, 20, anything that allows you to see the concrete looking, you know, like this instead of one solid thing. All right, so we have that now. So the next thing that we're going to do is this. We are going to draw the plan view for the manhole now. And this is quite straightforward. It's just a series of rectangles. So for this one now here, this rectangle is 730. So let's do this. So let's go to the concrete layer. So whenever you're doing things like site plans and you're joining inspection chambers for your site plans, what you are going to need is the plan view. So you can use this one right here. So let's do this now. So I'll select a rectangle, come here, and this is going to be 730, 730, enter. And it says that the distance from here to the broken line right here is 100. So we can offset by 100 in like this, and then we can change this now to our green layer here, which is our dim style layer, and we can change it to hidden. And then we have this right here now. So we're going to offset the yellow line again by about 60. And then we're going to change this to the dimension style layer. All right, good, lovely. So now the only thing that we have left to do is to dimension. So for the dimension, the only thing you want to ensure, since we are using a scale of 1 to 20 here, what you would want to ensure is that in your dimensions, I'm using ISO 25 here. So I'm going to manage my dimension style here. I'm going to go to modify. And then for my primary units, I want to ensure that I set this to 0. I don't want any decimal places. So I'll set it to 0. And then now that's good. Everything here is looking good. I'm not putting alternate units, but you could put alternate units if you want to. You could just click display alternate units, set that precision to 0 also. And then normally you'd put them below the primary units. So you'd have both your millimeters and your feet and inches. But for me, I'm not going to use alternate units here. For symbols and arrows, you want to ensure that you're using architectural tick. So I'll use architectural tick right here. And also for here, I'll also select architectural tick. Lovely. And then in the fit, because we are using a scale of 1 to 20, where it says use overall scale of, just put 20, because we're using a scale of 1 to 20. That will make your dimensions nice and match your drawings perfectly. And yeah, that's good for me. So this is good. And then for your leader styles now, also click this drop down here, click on this one here beside the leader, manage this. We're going to manage multi-leader style, modify, and then for this you also set this scale to 20. Everything else is good. And for me, and this is just personal preference, it doesn't matter what textile you want to use, you can use whichever textile. I'm just showing you how to change it. So there are many different ones. I'm using Stylus BT, but there's a lot of different ones that you can use. You can just look through, see which ones you like, which ones you prefer. So to dimension, of course, you just click the dimension line and all our dimensions are here. So for example, dimensioning from like here to here. So I'll just go to the red layer here, my sections layer, and I'll click dimension. You know, so I want to dimension from here to like right here. That would give me 150 and I just bring it out like that. Good. So that's how it go about doing dimensioning. So if I like this arrow right here, that's a multi-leader. And for that, what you could do now is you just click on multi-leader, click on the manhole cover here, bring this out. And for this, I like when it's in the zero layer. Oh, and you could write your text here. So for example, I wanted to write 150 by 450 frame and cover and so on. So, you know, just something like that. If I wanted to write that, so that's what it would look like. Let me just change this actually to the zero layer and so on. All right, and if you think your text is too big on your multi-leader here, you could just click the annotation drop down, click on standard, manage multi-leader style, modify, and then when you come over here to content, you'd see the text height. So it's currently at 4. So if you want to make it half the size, you could put it to 2 and click OK. If yours is too small, you can make it bigger by just changing this number here. So I'll put that to 2, and now it's half the size and so on, you know. So that's how you'd go about doing stuff like that. Good, lovely. And then of course you would name it and so on and put the scale. So I'm going to just zoom in on it so that you can probably pause the video and you can take down the dimensions and dimension your own drawing, your dimensions and annotations. All right, so I'll just move through and you can pause the video accordingly. All right, lovely. So that is how you go about drawing a section through a manhole, and also how you go about drawing a plan view for a manhole. So I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, just remember to like, subscribe, and also follow for future content. All right, so I hope that video was helpful. That's how you go about drawing a manhole plan view and section in Autocad. So thank you for watching and have yourselves a fantastic day. Do remember that you can comment down below and let me know what videos you would like to see.